evening, saints of God. Happy Resurrection Day. This is a joyous time for every saint of God because it is the time that our salvation was established on. How he died, how he rose again. And so today we're just wanting for just a few seconds to worship and adore our Father for allowing his Son to die on the cross for our sins. We thank you so much, Father, that you rose on the third day that we could have liberty. I'm so grateful for that. But in the midst of that, what we're going to talk about is we're in the midst of a very peculiar time in the history of mankind. It's not just here in our country, but it seems that the whole world is in a turmoil. It seems that there are questionable leaders all over the world. And people are wondering, especially in this country, God, what's going on? What is the answer? Why are things as they are? I've heard many people say God is still in control, that God still is the one that has the answers. And you are absolutely right. I am not here to debate the point. However, there is something that we need to consider as saints of God to understand how to bring a remedy to what we feel is wrong with where we are today. There is a remedy that needs to be sought. There is a balm in Gilead that will help us to understand and to be able to endure what is going on. One of the things I always say is that the world systems are not designed to favor us. There are the things that actually belong to Caesar. Caesar runs that. Caesar established that. And Caesar has the power over it. And because it belongs to Caesar, it is not designed to favor us. The world system is fickle. The world system is flawed. And we as saints cannot conform to the world system. However, we are in the world, even though we are not of the world or shouldn't be of the world. And so therefore, there is an answer I want us to consider. I want us to go to 2 Chronicles, 7th chapter, verse 14. And you will hear these words coming from God. And he'll say, if my people that are called by my name will humble themselves and pray, seek my face, turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven, I will forgive their sins, I will heal their land. What that is letting us know is that God has established, and there are a group of people who God has a listening ear for. They have influence with God. And for the next few weeks, we are going to look at how to pray the prayer of faith that will help to change the outcome. You may not believe it. I know it's hard to believe. But there are people that God has ordained. There are people that have power with God who, when they pray, God hears them. God listens to what they got to say. And my brothers and sisters, that group of people, you may be included. I say you may be because it's not an all-inclusive group. God himself said, if my people that I possess, and not just possess, but people that I have influence with and have influence with me. That's key. Let's understand my people for just a few minutes, and then we'll let you go and be ready for next week. When you talk about being one of God's people, you're talking about a relationship where not only is one party known, they know each other and they are intimate with each other. I'm going to give you a very earthly example. In the world, everybody, I think, from one corner of the globe to the other, knows who Oprah Winfrey is. Yes? And yet, Oprah Winfrey constantly talks about a lady named Gayle King. And we know Gayle King because of her relationship with Oprah. Oprah calls Gayle her I want to look at that. Because of her relationship with Oprah, Gayle King is in a very good position with her relationship, whereby if there is ever a need that Oprah can meet, all Gayle has to do is call. Why? Because that's one of her people. Because Gayle is one of her people, she can call. Not only did she call Gayle her friend, she said her best friend. Think about that. Turn that round now in a spiritual sense, and let's look at what God has said. He said, if his people, which are called by his name, if those who know me and those who I know, those with the intimate relationship with me, if they would just humble themselves, we're going to talk about humbling yourself next week. If they would humble themselves, if they would pray, if they would seek my face, if they would turn from their wicked ways, everybody don't really have to do it. But if my people do it, I'll hear from heaven. I'll forgive their sins. I'll heal their land. The key in this is who do you belong to? Who do you have relationship with? Do you have the relationship with God that will determine whether or not you can talk to God about some things and turn some things around? That's what God is really saying here. If my people would do it, if my people would do it, it's one thing to know a people. It's another thing to say, these are my people. I relate to these people. I not only know these people, I'm a part of these people. Glory be to my God. To be in a relationship with God, to where you're not just a part of him, but he's a part of you too. When you get to that relationship, there are certain powers, there is certain empowerment and certain prayers that you can pray that will turn environments around. I want you to think about that this week. Whose people are you? What group do you belong to? Are you a part of that group that just says, Lord, Lord, but you don't really know him? Are you a part of that group that will stand before him and talk about how you cast out devils and he'll say, I don't know you? Are you a part of that group that disobey him and try to reason your way out of everything he's asked you to do? Are you a part of that group that he will cast away? Or are you a part of the group that he can chastise? Are you a part of the group that he can purge? Are you a part of even the group that he can scourge? If you are a part of that group that he can chastise, that he can purge, that he can punish like a child, then you are part of God's people. And you have the power to begin to speak some things. There are things going on in the earth right now. And God needs his people to step up and begin speaking the right thing. He don't need us asking him for cars. He don't need us asking him for homes. He don't need us asking him to just take care of things in our house. There is a world in trouble and they need a people who can come and stand on and get on their faces to God, and God will hear them. That is where we are. That is where we are trying to be. When we come together next week, we will look at humbling ourselves and being able to pray. Thank you, and God bless you. We'll see you next week.